Thanks a lot for waking up early in a Saturday morning to learn Python. Okay, I will start by sharing my screen. Now everyone should be able to see my screen. Welcome to the class. My name is Dauda Bari, and I am a computer scientist by education. And currently, I am the director of Adama Robotics. Adama Robotics is an education technology company. We are based in London, UK, and we also have an office in Dhaka, Bangladesh. This is our website if you guys want to find out more about us. And at Adama Robotics, and these are some of our team members. And at Adama Robotics, we sell robot kits. We also sell online courses, and we do workshops in schools about coding and robotics. And on this page, you have more information of our social media pages. We have videos and pictures, among other stuff. After this workshop, if you have any question about what I went through, please feel free to send us an email to admin@adamarobotics.com, and either me or one of our team members will get back to you ASAP. Okay, let's get this part started. So for this workshop, all that we need is an internet connection and a laptop or computer. We are going to use this website called trinket.io. So can I please ask every one of you to go into this website, trinket.io. I will do the same. So if you Google trinket.io, this is the URL. It should bring you to this page. And then what we do, we're going to log in. We click login, and then it gives the option to log in with your Google, Clever, or Edmodo, or if you want, you can sign up. What I usually do is just use my Google account. So I click on it. Okay, and then log in. Fantastic. If you have any question, please let me know. I'll check chat and see whether there's any question or not. Okay, I will assume that everyone did manage to go in trinket.io and you managed to log in. Okay, fantastic. Once you logged in, on the top left and right corner, there is a home button. Please click on it and then click on new trinket. And then it should give you all of these options. Okay, I'm just going to move my, then it gives you all of these options, and we are going to use Python 3. Python has two versions. One of them is called Python 2, the other one is called Python 3. And nowadays, the most popular one is Python 3. So we're going to use Python 3. Okay. And as you can see, once you click on Python 3, it takes you to text editor. And this is the text editor that we are going to use today during our workshop. Okay. So there is no questions. I'm going to assume that everything is okay. Yes, so if you have any question, just feel free to message me directly. Okay, thank you. So first things first, so as you know, we are going to learn about simple inputs and outputs. We are going to learn about how to make decisions as well using if statements, how to repeat actions by using for loops and while loops. And then in the end, we are going to do some work with lists. But first, we are going to learn how to print text onto the screen. And for that, we use the print function in Python. And as you can see, we type print followed by opening and closing brackets. And then inside of the brackets, in Python, we can either use double quotes or single quotes. I usually use double quotes because double quotes is more common and is more popular in programming in general. So in Java, C, or C++, which are the programming languages, we also use double quotes. So I usually advise people to use double quotes. And then whatever type between the double quotes will be printed in screen once I run the code. Okay, so let's go, and I'm going to type hello world. And then there's this run button. If I click on it, and as you can see on top, on the right hand side, it prints hello world. Okay, let's do another print statement. As you can see, I type print, then I open and close the brackets. These brackets are number 9 and 0 on a Mac keyboard, and then double quotes, and my name is Adama run, and it should work fine as well. So between double quotes, you can type anything that you want. Okay, I'm going to, and as I said, we can also use single quotes. So now I'm going to use single quotes. I'm going to print today is Saturday. And then if I run it, as you can see, it prints on the right-hand side. So we always need double quotes or single quotes. If we don't use quotes, we will get a syntax error. So as you can see, it took out the single quotes, so we don't have neither double or single quotes now. If I run it, we'll get a syntax error. And as you can see, it prints a screen, invalid syntax. In programming, syntax means a set of rules in the same way that in spoken languages such as French, Spanish, and English, we have a grammar, which is a set of rules we must follow. In programming, we also have we have similar set of rules, but set of rules in programming, we call them syntax. Okay, and at the moment it's telling us the syntax is invalid. That's because we don't have double or single quotes. So if I put back double quotes and then run it, it works fine. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so that's first thing we did learn, how to print text. By the way, once we have done an exercise or learned something, you can always download code. You go here on the share button, click the drop down list, and then share, download. It allows you to download the code. You can email it yourself or you can download. Okay, so let's start with simple inputs and outputs. Fantastic. So for that, we are going to start by creating a variable called name. A variable in computing is, okay, someone just asked me some questions. Okay. Okay, some people are, okay, so some people I can see some people haven't found the trinket yet. Okay, if you click login and then top right, you should see new trinket. Okay, so I can see there's one person that is having some difficulty in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is sign out again, and then I'll do it again. So go to the home page, log in, and then you click on the sign in button. In this case, I'm going ahead with Google. So I click on Google, and then it logs me in. And then usually you should have the new trinket on top right hand side. or otherwise, you can go click on Home button. Once you click on Home button, you should see new trinket. Click on drop-down menu, and then choose Python 3. Okay, I think we are the latecomer, and they had an issue. Okay, is that clear? Let me just double check. Okay, waiting for a reply. Okay, fantastic. We are all in. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, so let's start with inputs and outputs. Let's initialize a variable called name. In programming, a variable is same as a container. So in the real world, we have a bottle of water. The bottle is the container of the water. In programming, it's same thing. A variable contains data or information. In this case, we are creating a variable called name. So we type name, followed by equal sign, and then we type input. So now we are telling Python, we are going to require some input from the user. That means the user is going to type something in the program. So we type name is equal input, and then open and close brackets, and then double quotes. And I want to know the user's name. So we type, what's your name? Followed by question mark. So we have a variable called name equal input. So we are telling Python we want some input from the user, and then we print. We ask the user, what's your name? If I run this, it prints, what's your name? I'll type Dauda, and as you can see, nothing else happens. If we want to print what we just typed on the screen, as we just learned previously, we use the print function. Print, and then inside of the brackets, we type name of the variable, name. And now if I run it, again, it will ask for my name, and then it prints what I typed. Okay. Let me double check and make sure that everyone's on board. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's create a second variable. Let's call it surname. And again, it's very similar. We have an equal sign followed by the input keyword. So we are telling Python we are going to require some input from the user, followed by double question marks. And then we ask the user, what's your surname? And then after the user types in his or her surname, we want to print surname onto the screen. And I'm going to run this again. And as you can see, he asks, what's your name? So I'm going to type Dauda. And then he asks, what's your surname? And my surname is Barre. And then he prints surname again. Okay, fantastic. And we can now print all of it by once. So I'm going to use the print function again. I print hello. And then plus, I want to print the name. So I want to print hello. Let's say if someone's name is John and his surname is Smith, I want to print hello, John Smith. So for that, I type hello, followed by a plus. So I'm concatenating strings and put them together. followed by plus, surname. Okay, I'm going to print this, but it won't come out as nicely, and I will explain to you in a minute why not. Okay, so let's run it. What's your name? Daughter. What's your surname? Barry. Enter, and it prints hello Daughter Barry. But as you can see, as I said, it doesn't come as nice. So it comes everything stacked together. So we need to add some spaces. So for first one, hello Daughter, we need to press enter here. So we get some space. So we will get some space between hello and Daughter. And then the remaining, we need some double quotes. And double quotes there. Okay. And I'm going to run this again. And now it should be clearer. Okay. Invalid syntax. Hello plus name plus surname. Okay, yes. I forgot a plus there. Okay. Run. Okay, it should be fine now. Okay, let's test it. Barry. Hello, Daughter Barry. Okay, fantastic. So this is how we take input and output data in Python. Let me check chat and see whether, okay. If there's any question, please feel free to message me on chat. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that we are all in. Okay, fantastic. So that was inputs and outputs. And now we are going to move to making decisions. If you want to download this, you can do so. Click on the share button, download, or you can email it yourself if you don't want to lose this piece of code. Okay, fantastic. Now I'm going to do Command A, and I'm going to clear the screen so we can start fresh. Okay, now we're going to learn how to carry out decisions based on conditionals. And for that, we are going to use if-else statements. I'm going to start again by creating a variable called grade. As you know, a variable is like a container. It will contain data or information. In this case, this variable will contain information about someone's grade. Then we type grade is equal, and then we type int. And this int stands for integer. And integer in programming means all number. So 12, 20, 25, 2020, these are all numbers. So we have decimals, which are known as floats in programming. So a decimal is a number with a comma or a dot. So 10.5, 9.99, those are known as floats, which are decimals in everyday speak. And we also have integers, and integer is a whole number. So I typed grade, I create a new variable called grade, and then telling the computer, this variable will be of type integer. It will be a whole number. Fantastic. And then I open and close brackets. And then inside, I type input. So now I'm telling Python, the user will input some data. And then I open and close brackets. And then inside double quotes. And now let's ask the user, what's your grade? Okay. And let's run this and make sure that we don't have any syntax. Run, and it runs well. Okay, so let's say 99. As you can see, we don't have any syntax error at the moment. When you program, it's really advisable for you to test your code whenever you write a line of code. let's say if you have a program with 1,000 lines of code, last thing that you want is to be on the last line and then run your code, and then you have some syntax errors. So it makes it easier if you break down complex problems in simpler tasks. Okay, so we did ask the user, what's your grade? If I want to print this grade, again, we use the print function. So let's say, let's go 99, and then it prints 99. Okay, fantastic. And now I want the computer to perform some specific tasks based on the user's grade. And for that, we start by using the if-else statement. So we type if, then we type the variable's name, grade. If it's greater or equal to 70, and then colon, I want to print that the student had an A grade. So I type print, open and close brackets, and then inside we have double quotes, and then we type A grade. And then let's run this and let's test it. So as you can see, he asks us, what's your grade? I'm going to say 86. And now, according to this, it should print A grade. Let's press enter, and it does. Okay, so we use the if statement, and then we have a condition. It says that if grade is greater or equal to 70, print A grade. I'm going to run this again. However, what happens if the grade is less than 70? Okay, I'm going to type 68 and enter. And as you can see, nothing happens. It just prints 68, which means we need to have another if statement. In this case, an elif, which is a conjugation of else if. So if student has another grade, we need to create another rule. So let's say elif, that's else if the grade is greater or equal to 60, let's say the student had a B grade, print B grade. Okay, and let's run this and let's test it. So let's say let's test first rule. I'm going to type 71, enter, and it says A grade. Fantastic. Let's test second rule. So according to second rule, if the grade is greater or equal to 60, is a B grade. So let's say 60. B grade, fantastic. What about if it is 69? If it is 69, what should the program print according to these two rules? Let me check chart. Feel free to message me on chat. What do you think it will print if we type 69 according to the rules that we have there? Okay. So we have some people saying B grade. Okay. Let's see. Let's test it. Enter. And yeah, correct. Yes. B grade. Okay. Let's run this once more. Now, what about if we type 55? As you can see, nothing else happens. So that means we need to create another rule. Another elif. So elif, if the grade is greater or equal to 50, and then colon, print, open and close brackets, and then double quotes, C grade. Fantastic. Let's run it. So let's test it again with 55. I'll type 55 and then press enter. And then you say C grade. And as you can see, this could go on and on, because more than likely we will need a rule for grades below 40, below 30, 20, and even 10. But we don't need do that many, because we also have this other rule called the else. So the else will tell Python if the grade is greater or equal 70 is an A grade, else if it's small greater or equal 60 is a B grade, else if it's greater or equal 50 is a C grade. If it's anything besides this, we can print something else. So print, let's say better luck next time. Okay, now let's run this and let's test it again. So let's start with first rule. So let's say we add 76. Great, fantastic. Let's run it again. Second rule, let's type 66. B grade, fantastic. Let's test the third rule. Let's type 51. It should print C grade, fantastic. And now let's test our last rule. Let's say someone add 45. Better luck next time. Fantastic. So as we can see, our 4 rules work. And this is just an example of if-else statements. Instead of grade, we could have age. So let's say if someone wants to buy a game, for some games it would be 16 plus or 18 plus. And so we can say based on someone's age, whether they can or cannot buy a certain game. Feel free to send me any question that you might have. Let me just check chat. Okay, I think we have one question. Okay, that was Charlotte saying that it was a B grade. Yes, yeah, correct. Yes, both Andrew and Charlotte were correct. Okay, fantastic. So that was if-else statements. And now we are going to go ahead with our third topic, which is learning how to repeat code. Okay, feel free to download it or email it yourself. And I'm going to clear screen, Command A, and clear screen. Okay, and now we are going to learn how to repeat code. In the real world, if you want to write something down using a pen and paper, if you want to write 10 times, there's only one way to do it. You have to write down 10 times from 1 to 10. However, in Python, we have for loops and while loops that allows us to repeat a line of code numerous times. We're going to start with for loops. So we have for loops and we have while loops. And the only difference between a for loop and a while loop is that for loop, we use it when we know how many times exactly we want to repeat some code. While loop is not defined how many times we want to repeat it. The number of times that code will be repeated will be based on a condition. It might sound complicated. It will be easier once we have done some examples. Okay, let's start with for loops. So let's say for, the syntax is we have a for, and then we have an I. The I is called a counter variable. It's called a counter variable. So instead of an I, we can have anything else. We can have someone's name of an object, A, B, C. So we have for I, and then we have the in keyword, and then range. And then open and close brackets. And then I'm going to type 0 and 5, and then colon. Okay, so we are telling Python, we are going to use a for loop, and we have a variable, which can be anything, but standard is usually an I. And then we say in the range 0 to 5. So I want to repeat a portion of code or a line of code 5 times. So we have the beginning, and then this is the end. And now, and then enter. So after the colon, we press enter, and then we type, I'm going to print something to screen. So let's say today is Saturday. And if I press run, it should repeat this line of code 5 times. Okay, run. And as you can see on the right hand side, it repeats it 5 times. So we have today Saturday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, let's change this variable, let's say 21. Let's run it again. And as you can see, it repeats it 21 times. And this number can be any number really that you want. I can even type 1000 and it will do it 1000 times, as you can see. Okay, so these are for loops. And now let's clear screen and let's learn about while loops. While loops. So the while loop is, we start by initializing the counter variable. I'm going to use an I again, but it doesn't have to be an I, it can be anything else. So I want to repeat some code, let's say 5 times again. So we say I starts at 0, and then we type the while keyword, followed by opening and closing brackets. And then we want to repeat this code 5 times, so until one is smaller than 6. And then colon. Then we use the print keyword again. Then inside double quotes, we can say I is colon, comma, I. And I will explain to you shortly what all of these lines of code mean. It's easier than what it seems to be. So I is equal I plus 1. Okay, so let's go through the code. So we initialize a variable. So we set a variable I, which is equal to 0. It doesn't necessarily have to be 0. It can be any other number. But in this case, I want to repeat code 5 times. So I'm telling Python, the variable I begins at 0, and I want it to run until one is smaller than 6. So it will run 5 times. And then we have the while keyword, and then we print. And then the print can be anything. In this case, I want to print I is, followed by the variable that I is equal to. And then we increment the variable I by 1. Every time that the program runs, the I variable will be incremented by 1. So that's the theory. Let's see whether it works in practice or not. Let's run it. And it does. Oh, although I made a mistake. It shouldn't. I printed that. Let me double check the code. So I is equal 0 while I, oh yes, here, yes. I mistyped here, okay. Okay, give me just a second. So on the line number 5, it should have been I is equal I plus 1. Okay, and now let's run it again, and it should work. Okay, there it is. As expected. So I is 0, I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, I is 4, and I is 5, as you can see. Okay, let me check the chart and see whether we have any questions or not. Fantastic. Okay, we don't have any questions. I'm going to assume that everything is clear and we are all in. So in summary, if we want to repeat lines of code, we use the for loop and the while loop. And for loop, we use it when we know exactly how many times we want to repeat some code, and the while loop is when we are not sure. Okay, and let's do again. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the list. Okay, if you want, don't forget you can download it or email it to yourself. Okay, I'm going to clear my screen. And let's get started with lists. A list is when we use lists when we want to store a collection of data. So it's a bit similar to, we can say, a database. Yes, it's lists, yes. So it stores collection of data, and this data can be either strings or integers. Strings, how can I explain strings? Strings is what we call text in everyday speak. And then integers, as you know, is all numbers. So I'm going to create some lists. Let's create a list called countries. So we type countries, then followed by the equal sign. And then we use square brackets for list. So these are different brackets than these print brackets that we usually use. So these brackets are known as French brackets, and then these ones are square brackets. Okay, so we type name of the list, countries, followed by an equal sign. Then we have square brackets. And instead of square brackets, because we are going to use strings, we have to use double quotes. And then let's type some country names inside. So we have Spain, followed by, and then comma. And then we need again the double quotes. Let's type Japan between quotes, and then comma again. Let's type France. Okay. Yes, you can keep going on as many elements as you want. So the items inside of the list in Python are called elements. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 elements inside of the list of our list. And if I run this, let's see whether we have any syntax error or not. As we can see, nothing happens. If we want to print the list, we use print statement. We type print, followed by brackets, and then inside we type name of the list. And if we run this, it should print our list, and it does, as you can see. We have Spain, Japan, France, USA, UK. Lovely. Let's create another list. So it can be anything that we want. Countries, let's create a new list called countries. Oh no, well, we just did countries. So let's do colors. Colors is equal square bracket. Colors is equal square brackets. And we have blue. We have yellow. We have 4 colors. Now let's print it. As you know, we type print. Then inside of print, we type name of the list, in this case colors. And then let's run it, and it should print the elements of the list, and it does, as you can see. Okay. What about if I just want to print certain elements, not all of them? So I just want to print yellow. I don't want to print blue, yellow, pink, and purple. How do I do that? For that, we use indexing. Indexing. I'm going to type it down so we know index. So in Python, in list, every element has an index number. And the trick is that the index numbers, they always begin at 0. So this index 0, index 1, index 2, and index 3. This is a very common feature in programming. As human beings, when we count, we usually start at 1. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and henceforth. However, with computers, whenever they start counting, they start at 0. So it's always at index 0. Okay. So if we want to print yellow, we type print, open and close brackets, name of the list, and then we use square brackets. And then inside of square brackets, we type the index number of the element that we want to print. So this index 0, index 1, 2, and 3. And we want to print yellow. And as we know, what's the index, what should go inside of the square brackets if we want to print just the yellow element? Which number? Feel free to message me on chat. Okay. Okay, so we have 2 people saying 1 and 1 person saying 2. Okay, so this index 0, index 1, index 2, and index 3. Okay, fantastic. Well done, Jamie. Yes, yeah, correct. Yes. Yes. So inside of bracket, we should put number 1 because the yellow is index 1. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's type 1 and let's run it and let's see what it works. And it does. Fantastic. Well done. Okay. It is under moves. Do you understand why it's 1 now? Okay. Let's do another example. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad. No. Okay. Let's do another example. If I want to print blue, what should go in the square brackets? Please let me know in the chat. I want to print just blue now. I'm going to get rid of this. So we have colors is equal, and then we have 4 elements inside, and I just want to print blue. Okay. I'll give you 1 minute to think about it. And then I'm going to run it. Okay. So as a reminder, index 0, index 1, index 2, and index 3. Okay, so if I want to print blue, we should put inside of the square brackets 0. Let's run it. And that's correct, it prints blue. Okay, fantastic. So this is lists when we have strings, when we have text. But lists, they can also store numbers, integers. So let's do an example where we store some numbers. Okay, I'm going to clear the screen. Let's create a new list called years. Years is equal, and then we have square brackets. And now for numbers, we don't need double quotes. So we just type in the numbers. That's it. No double quotes are required. Some random numbers. Okay. Now let's print this. How should we print it? Please feel free to type in chat. How can we output the elements of this list? Where should we go after print? If we want to output the contents of the list, we type print, followed by opening and closing brackets, then the name of the list. In this case, the name of the list is years. And then let's run this, and it should print the elements. As you can see, it does. Fantastic. Okay. And we can, and the index, they work same way as with strings. So as you remember, indexing in computing, in programming, they always begin at 0. So we do the same thing again. We type print, open and close brackets, and then we have colors. And then inside we have the square brackets. And now I want to print last element. This one. 193734. I just want to print this one. So what number should go inside of the brackets? Okay, I can see someone message me already. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, so far we have 0, 5, and 6. Okay, I'll let all of you think about it for a second. Yes. Let's pause for a little bit and think about it. Okay. So 5 and 6 seem to be most popular options at the moment. Okay, so let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have 6 elements in this list. However, yes, it is years, yes. Yes, we have a new list called years. So the colors list was previous one. Yes, as you can see here, this list is called years. It can be anything else. We can name it numbers. Yes, we can name it numbers if you want. Yes. Yes. So the name of the list is up to us. Yes, and I name years, but we can call it numbers. So we have a list called numbers. Then we have 6 numbers inside of this list. And now I want to print the last number, just last element. So with indexing, so this index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means if I want to print last number, I will type 5 inside of the square bracket. So we type print, then the name of the list, followed by the index number, which is 5. And then if I press run, it prints the latest number. Is it clear why I typed 5 inside of the square brackets? Okay, let's do another example. Let me add another number. Let's say 12 and 14. Okay. So now I want to print just number 12. What number should go inside of the square brackets? Okay. Jamie says it's number 6. Johnston also says number 6. Andrew says number 7. Okay. So by looks of it, either 6 or 7. Okay. So let's check. So how many elements we have in the list? Let's count them. How many elements? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 8 elements in this list. Now let's see the index. So the index is also equal to number of elements minus 1. I'm going to write that down. Index is equal number of elements minus 1. So we have 8 elements as we saw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now the index, we all start counting from 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number 12 is index number 6. So let's type 6 inside of square brackets. And I'm going, and we can put an hashtag there. So in Python, the hashtag sign is a comment, and a comment is ignored by the code, so it doesn't see it. And we use comments in programming when we want to write a comment, yes. But the program ignores it, okay. So we print number 6, let's run this, and let's see whether it prints 12 or not. And it does, it prints 12. And I believe all of you did get correct. Yeah, well, we maybe had one person that got it wrong, but that's okay. This is a little bit confusing in the beginning, but with time, with practice, it gets easier and easier. Yes. Those of you that said 6 are correct. Okay. Let's do a couple more examples. Make sure that we know this well. I want print number, first number, 2020. Where should we go inside of the square bracket? Okay. Okay, 0. Let's run it. So 2 people said it's 0. I'm going to run it. And it's correct, yes, 2020. Seems like we know about indexes now. Okay, great. So we know about indexes when it comes to numbers. Since I've covered everything that we are meant to cover today for the workshop, we can do and we still have some time left. We can do a couple more examples. Okay. Let's create a new list and let's call it names. Names is equal. So actually, I'll give all of you a challenge. Let's create a list called names with following elements. So we have John, Becky, Andrew, we have Sarah, Maria, we have Peter. Okay, so I want to create. Okay, we have someone asking us how to make a simple game. A simple game, it will take a bit longer to learn how to do it, but you remember our email. Our email is here, admin@adamarobotics.com. Send us an email and I can send you some resources about how to create a game. Yes, it takes a bit more of work, but it's using what we are learning, but you'll have put it all together. You're welcome, my pleasure. Okay, so let's create a list called names with following elements. And please feel free to type your answers in the chat so I can see whether you know how to do it or not. So a list with following elements. Yeah, it might be a bit difficult in the beginning, but it's a good way to learn. Okay, and I'm going to give you all 2 minutes to do it. Okay, so we can see someone did manage to do it. Well done. Okay, I'll give 2 minutes to all of you to create this list. Yes, so a list called names with following elements. So remember, these are strings, and for strings, we need to use double quotes. And then I'm going to do it, and then we can double check whether it's correct or not. Okay, 2 minutes. If you have any question, meanwhile, feel free to send me a message in the chat. Okay, 1 minute left. One minute left, it's almost there. Okay, maybe 30 seconds left. Fantastic, well done, Johnston. We have one answer from Johnston. Can you please type your answers in chat so I can see how we are getting on? And then I can highlight any parts that we need to focus on. Okay, so that's 2 minutes. Okay, so we have one answer from Johnston. Name, John, Becky, Andrew, Sarah, Maria. Fantastic, well done. Well done, yes, that's correct. And then we have Nikki. Okay, yes, Nikki, thank you. Yes, so Nikki's answer is correct. Yes, okay, so I'm going to do it now. For those of you that did find it a bit challenging, so we have list called names. So type names is equal. Then we have square brackets, then double quotes, and then we want John, and then comma, double quotes again, Becky, comma, and now, yes, you know how to do it. I'm just going to type the remaining names. Sarah, Maria, and Peter. Okay. Okay. Jamie, how's it going? Are you managing it well? Okay. Fantastic. Okay. So we have a list now, and now let's print this list. Let's print every single element. So we type print, open and close the brackets, and then we have names. And now if I press run, it should work. And there it is. John, Becky, Andrew, Sarah, Maria, and Peter. Fantastic. Well done to all of you. You tried. That's how we learn. That's how we learn, step by step. Okay. Now let's do the indexing again. I want to print just Becky now. I don't want to print all of them. I just want to print Becky. Just print name Becky onto the screen using the indexing. Okay. Can all of you write the full line of code in chat, please? And then we have 1 minute to do that. It should be enough. Yes. Just print Becky name onto the screen using the print statement. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. Okay. And the remorse, yes, I can see. Okay, well done, Nikki. Yes, okay. Yes, that's correct. So we type print, open and close brackets, names, square brackets, and then number one goes inside because back is index one. Let's remember again. So we have index 0, index 1, index 2, 3, 4, and 5. So back is 1. So the side we type 1, we run it, and it prints back. Excellent. Now I want to print the last element, Peter. What number should go inside? Well done. Lilia, Nikki, Jamie, well done. Okay. So for Peter, so far we have 5. Is it 5? Let's guess. Let's check. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Yes, should be 5. Let's run it and test it. And we have Peter. Well done. Well done. Nikki, Jamie, and Lilia. Quick learners. Well done. Well done. Okay. Let's do another example. Now let's do with integers. So this was with strings, which is text in everyday speak, but in programming we call strings when we type text. And now let's do with integers, with whole numbers. Okay, then think about some numbers. Let's say lottery, and lottery numbers are 89, 45, 64, 20, and 25. Can all of you please create a list called lottery with the following elements inside: 89, 45, 64, 20, and 25. And I'm going to give all of you 2 minutes to create this list. Okay, I'm going to set up a timer. 2 minutes. Oh, no. or 2 minutes. Okay, so it starts now. And then I'm going to do it. Well done, Nikki. Excellent. Well done, Nikki. Okay, let me go back to timer. Okay, we have 55 seconds. So far we have an answer. If you didn't manage to do it, please copy and paste it and put it in chat. Yeah, so far we have one, Nikki, and he seems correct. Seems correct. Nikki, actually your answer is wrong. Here's an error. Nikki, yes, your answer is wrong. He's almost there, but not there yet. So let's see if you can find the error, Nikki. Give it another go. Okay, we have an answer from Jamie. Well done, Jamie. That looks correct. And that's it. Finish. Okay, so let's create this list. I'm just going to comment these lines of code. As you remember, we put an hashtag, then he comments, then Python ignores those lines of code. So list name is law3. So we type law3 equal square brackets. And then because it's integers, we don't need double quotes. So we have 89, 35, 64, 20, and 25. Okay, and now to print it, type list name inside. Okay, now let's run it and see where it works, and it does. Yes. So that's the correct version. Yes. Well done to all of you for trying. Well done. Yes. If you tried, well done. You might get wrong, but that's okay. That's part of the learning process. With more practice, it becomes easier and it becomes second nature. Okay, well done. And now let's print some of these elements using the index. So let's print 64 using the 64 index. And I'm going to give you all 1 minute to do this. Okay, start. Okay, so we have 60 seconds. Can all of you please print 64 using the index number? Okay, we have one answer from Lilia. Nikki as well. Well done, Nikki. Well done, Lilia. 20 seconds left. Well done, Jamie. We have Lilia, Nikki, and Jamie's answers. Well done. 3 seconds left. 1 and 0. Okay, well done. So far, the answer that we have is it should be print, and then the index number should be 2. Okay, let's double check. That sounds correct. So we have 0, 1, and 2. That's correct. The index number of 64 is 2. So in order to print it, we type print list name log3 square brackets 2 inside. Let's run it, and it's correct. Well done. Well done, Lilia, Nikki, and Jamie. You did get that correct. Well done. Is this first time everyone is using Python, or have you done Python in past? You can let me know in chat, yes or no. Because definitely first time. Okay, well done. You can see this first time as well. Okay, great. I'm glad to know. So you are all quick learners. Okay, and so Nikki and it's Endermuz. First time, Jamie did a little bit before. Okay, well done, well done. Yes, and as you can see, it's pretty easy. In the beginning, it can seem to be a little bit complicated, but with practice we get there. Okay, let's do one more exercise and then we finish the class. And then since we have covered every single topic we had to go through, let's just do one more and then we finish the class for today. Okay, last but not least, let's print 25 using the index number of 25. And for that, I'm going to give all of you again 2 minutes. Let me set the timer. Oh no, 60 seconds actually, not 2 minutes. 60 seconds, it will be okay. 1 minute. Okay. So now we are printing, we need print 25. Okay, Jamie, we have one answer from Nikki, another answer from Jamie. Okay, well done. That seems correct. We will find out in a minute. Nikki asks, how will we do 2 numbers from the list? Yes, okay. That's a good question. We can do that next. That's a good question, Nikki. Okay, let me check timer, and that's it. Okay. So let's print 25 first. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So square brackets, index 4, and run. And it prints 25. And Nikki wants to know how we print 2 numbers from the list. So let's say if we want to print 20 and 23, let's test 3 and 4. Let's see if this works. Okay. It's not working on ThinkCat. I will send you an email about how we do it later. Yes. Okay. So that was the last exercise. I hope all of you did find your first Python class interesting. And I wish all of you good luck with your Python learning. If you have any question, or if you want to get more Python resources, Yes, you just send us an email here, admin@adamarobotics.com. And that's all from me at the moment. I'm glad to know. Thank you.